Okay, this is a quick little video just to show you the three different microscopes that I have available, or types. I do have a Zeiss, as I mentioned, but I have to dig it out. So the ones that I have, and the one that's for 150 is this scope here, and this is a Tiyoda scope, as I said before, as I mentioned in the email or note, and it's a pretty basic scope, but it offers a lot of variability. And so when you said which is the best scope, it's really hard to answer that question because it depends on what you want to use it for. But it does have many moving parts. So it has a rotating turret for the objectives, the headpiece turrets. It also gets bigger for a larger interocular distance and smaller for a smaller interocular distance. It can use the same objectives, eyepieces, and condenser as the Nikon that I'm going to show you in a minute. And basically it would either come with a 1.3 NA condenser, and I can explain that to you later what that means, or a 1.25 or a 1.2. The next scope is the Amscope that I have available. This one is a trinocular, so it has a port on the top. So one major thing you're going to have to think about is, do you want to take photos with the microscope? If you do, then you really need a trinocular head. They do make inexpensive cameras that go in an eyepiece spot, but I don't think they don't work all that well because it never fits flat. But if you have a trinocular head, it will fit flat, so you'll get a better image. So if you're interested in taking photos, you'll have to have a trinocular head. This one comes with a trinocular head. That's all I have for it. The Tiyoda scope, I have trinocular heads for it, as well as binocular heads. So this is the, going back to the Amscope, it's pretty much a standard scope just like the other one. It has place for 4 objectives like the other one. It'd be the same powers that you would get: a 4, a 10, a 40, and 100. 100 would be for oil immersion. It will come with a condenser as well, a standard condenser, and it is in this case a 1.3, I believe. I'll tell you here in a minute. It is a 1.25 condenser, NA condenser. The main difference is the Tiyoda is pretty much all brass, cast aluminum and brass gears. It's all metal, all metal. The Amscope does have some plastic parts. The objectives are decent on it, so they're not bad. They're not as good as either the Nikon or Tiyoda objectives that you can get for the Tiyoda scope and the Nikon scope, but they're not bad. And it's a very simple machine to operate, on, off. You can adjust the intensity of the light source. Condenser goes up and down. That's about it. The Tiyoda scope, you have to center the bulb. It is a Kohler scope, meaning it has an iris on the condenser, on the base, and one in the condenser, which allows you to optimize your light path and your lighting. So it is a step up in the lighting department. The last one I want to show you tonight very quickly is a Nikon scope. This is an older Nikon scope. It has a simple stage. I do have another stage for it I could put on it very simply. With these Nikon units, the stages just come on and off. You just undo this screw a little bit and it lifts off the carriage. It also is a little more complicated than the Amscope. Very similar in complication to the Tiyoda scope. It is also a Kohler scope. The iris is located down here. It has an auxiliary lens here that you can put filters on. It also will have a filter ring in the condenser, and you would be getting with it a standard condenser like this. What's on here right now are what are called phase objectives, and there's a phase condenser set that I have for it, which would be an additional cost, but that does something a little different, and I can explain that in a later email as well. But it's a little more complicated in the sense that you do have to center some things on it like you do the Tiyoda. It's not quite as complicated, I'd say, just a little bit easier to use. So as far as ease of use, the Amscope will be the simplest, the Nikon will be the next, and the Tiyoda would be a little more complicated. Tiyoda, Nikon, very similar optical qualities, very nice, very good. I have trinocular heads for both. You see that this one has a trinocular head at the moment. Head comes off very easily. There's a screw on the side. It just comes right off once I get the screw off. I would be selling it initially with a binocular head, but like I said, I have a trinocular head that will fit it and is for it. And if you're going to do photography, that's what I would suggest you go with. So if it were up to me, I think we'd need to discuss a little bit more about what you want to get out of the scope, and if you would be happy with bright field and some limited dark field capability, or what you'd want to do with it. So I'll end this video because I think it's going to be over time, and what I'll do is I'll send you another quick text after this email, and maybe I can call you and get a little better handle on what it is that you want to be able to do with this, and therefore I can guide you to the best option for you and the best cost layout. Okay? Thanks.